Who else out there is tired of being broke middle class America? I know I can't be the only one.
I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I feel like being middle class is the worst because you can't afford life.
So they say the middle class is the worst class to be in. What class are you in?
Upper middle class.
I know what class I'm in.
He's from the lower class.
The working class, the lower.
Fuck you.
Let's get to the intro.
This country is literally destroying the middle class. Like, do we even have a middle class anymore? Or is it just like the haves and the have-nots? Because the haves are really, they're having, and the have-nots are really struggling.
Yeah, what up YouTube? It's your man J Boogie Bugs, the Puerto Rock that don't stop. Today we talking about the middle class. See, the middle class is like a middle child. You're not the favorite and you're not the baby. So basically, it's all on you. So about half the Americans are considered middle class.
Being middle class is the worst because you can't afford life, basically. Like, you can only afford to survive, and then you make too much to get any assistance from the state. I don't like it.
People are struggling on a daily basis. I mean, is $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year considered middle class, or is that still lower class? You make too much money to get any government help, but you don't make enough money to breathe. I mean, is it fair? You tell me if you've heard anything like this before in your life.
Out of the poor, middle, and rich class, the middle class is the worst place to be.
People in the middle class can barely afford a house nowadays. Forget about a new car. Along with everything else, people are struggling to survive. We're gonna see some videos of the middle class who really feel like, damn, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
We recently lost our medical insurance and our food assistance.
Damn.
Which, don't get me wrong, we were totally okay with. That's the growth we were looking for. However, I found that once you move up to that middle class life, you just get a different struggle. So before we had income and we had food assistance and medical, we at times would struggle to pay the rent or the bills, but never struggled to feed our kids because we had food stamps.
See?
Now it's been a couple months and we don't have those things. We don't have food stamps. We now have medical we pay out of pocket. I'm finding that you just go from one struggle to another. So you used to struggle to pay the bills, but never have to worry about medical or food. And now I can pay my bills, but I'm struggling to put food in my fridge.
See?
And I'm not saying that here for a pity party. I'm just saying the struggle is real. You move up in the world and you think it's going to be better, and it's just a new struggle. I broke down tonight in my kitchen when I had to ask my kids if they wanted water or water for dinner. Not that water's bad. I normally give them options. I didn't have any options tonight. And then my older son came out and asked if there was more burritos. And there wasn't, because there was only enough for everyone except for me to have one. So I told him he would just need to like find some noodles or something, which again is okay, but y'all be kind to people, because even people who are trying and people who are moving up in the world are still struggling. I just know I can't be alone, right? Please tell me I'm not alone.
No way. You are not alone.
The better I get, the worse it feels. And it sucks.
Alright, real talk, shorty, choke me up, yo.
You are a bitch nigga.
You make too much money to get any aid, but you don't make enough to put food on a plate for your kids? I mean, that's crazy. I feel bad for that woman. I feel bad for anybody who's going through this type of struggle. They say the working man is a sucker man, and I don't necessarily believe that, but at times that's what it feels like, man.
Being middle class has to be one of the worst places to be financially. And you're so cautious of complaining because you're aware that things could be worse, right? But it's that thing of not earning enough for certain governmental benefits, even though you know you need them. And then on the other hand, you don't earn enough to be comfortable. living paycheck to paycheck, paying for everything. Everything. Even breathing at this point comes at a cost. Being alive is expensive. Like, guys, we can't die middle class. Like, we can't do this for much longer.
Hey.
Like, a plan has to be made because the situation is just getting worse. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. I know I say this all the time, but it's really bad. As a middle class person, you bear the brunt of the badness. So we can't stay here, guys. Like, no. Can we just push? Figure out a way to get out of this loop? Because this whole thing is just a giant mess box.
The reality of it is, a lot of people in the middle class aspire to do better. They don't want to be on the welfare system. They want to work hard and progress in their life. But if you just keep hitting brick wall after brick wall, eventually it gets tiresome. And these people still give it their all. They give it their go. And I commend all of y'all who bust your ass on a daily basis, because this is not easy by any means.
I'd rather be low income than middle class. Now stick with me, okay? Hear me out. When you're low income, you probably are getting rental assistance, childcare assistance, food assistance. You are getting assistance from the government. So rather if you lose your job or not, guess what? Your bills are going to be paid. You won't be homeless. You'll have a place to live. You'll have food in a refrigerator. It's kind of easy being low income. It is. Now when you're middle class, guess what? You got to pay for health insurance. You got to pay for food. You can afford to take a day off of work. When you are a middle class American citizen, it is a lot harder than being low income. And I know people don't think about it like that, but middle class Americans do not get no help. That's why they said we should just go do away with the middle class, because middle class Americans do not get any help. They are literally working for health insurance, to pay their rent or their mortgage, to pay their car payment, and there's not much left at the end of the day.
Nope.
When you're low income, you're getting the help, you're getting the assistances. Middle class Americans do not get assistance from the government and sometimes have to work 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And a lot of people fall into that middle class category where, guess what? They got a lot of money, or they make a lot of money. They might make $150,000 a year, right? But they have children. They got to pay their mortgage, their car payment. It's nothing really left after they do all of the things and pay for everything. Now, some people do mismanage money. Mismanaging money is a thing. But when you have the low income Americans living better than the middle class Americans, that's when you know it's a problem. I say I'd rather be low income because guess what? If I had to choose, I would rather have my rent paid for, me to have childcare assistance, them to pay for me to go to school for free, me to have food stamps, me to have free medical. I don't have to, all of that is provided. I don't have to go out and work for that. Versus going out struggling just to keep food on the table, to have health insurance, and still not be able to pay all my bills at the end of the month and be facing eviction if I pay my rent a day late and be $1 short. I'm blessed that that's not my situation. I'm not rich by any means, but I do live a fairly okay and comfortable life. But it was a time where I was only making about $30,000-$40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and I was considered a middle class American, which I should have been considered low income. But in Pennsylvania, I was considered middle class because I didn't qualify for food stamps, health insurance. I didn't qualify for none of the things. So I've been poor and I've been on medical, housing, food stamps, all the childcare. I've got all of the things, okay? And it was a lot simpler because whether I had a job or not, I could just tell that office, hey, I lost my job, and guess what? My rent is $0. Versus being middle class, guess what? It ain't no, your landlord don't care. You better tap into your 401k. Do you get unemployment? You better go get another job in the next 30 days before you out on the street. And I've had both lives. I've had the low income life. I've had the middle class life. Me currently now, I would say that I might be like in the higher middle class, but living in the lower end of the middle class spectrum is a hard life to live. Like, that is hard. Like when you're only making maybe like 50, 60, 75,000 a year and you have to pay and do everything, that's not a lot of money. Kind of can't afford for one thing to come up. So if I had to choose, I either want to be rich or higher upper middle class or rich, or just let me be poor.
So you would like to live a little bit more of a luxury life, right? Which you think is upper middle class, but really you're just in a middle class fighting to stay alive, just like everybody else in the middle class, whether it's lower, middle, or upper. To me, it's all one circle of people who don't make enough money to live.
Who else out there is tired of being broke middle class America? I know I can't be the only one. It's exhausting, right? We constantly have to budget groceries, gasoline, doing fun things with our family. And everyone always says, go get your college degree, yet middle class America gets the least amount of help with college degrees. And our credit system is set up to keep us in debt. In fact, the average American has $58,000 in debt. The average household, $165,000. We just can't catch a break, and when one thing happens, it seems like 3 or 4 others do too. The never-ending cycle of middle-class America. This is how I have felt for a very long time.
So how do you budget when you're making $40, $50, $60,000 a year?
Very carefully.
I'm in a $50K a year, and realistically, it is not a lot of money.
No, it is not.
I make too much money to get any help, but I don't make enough money to actually live comfortably. Yeah, I keep the lights on, the rent's paid, but at the same time, I can't really afford to do anything that I would like to do, like the rich people do. I could pay taxes though. I bet you can too. It's another day and another bill to pay. The middle class is not asking for handouts. They just want what they deserve, what's right. They work hard and they expect to live comfortably. What class are you in? Do you pay a lot of taxes in this middle class and just get banged over the head while the big dogs barely get taxed and can afford every luxury in life? Leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's been your man, J Boogie Boogs. I'll catch up with all y'all on the next one, you heard? Be safe. Peace.